Hello everyone, welcome back again to Spiritual Growth Tarot and Astrology, but no astrology today. Nah. I was thinking maybe, nah. I already know Trump has Pluto going through his 6th house of health, so that's not good for, someone like him who's not into work and service, right? So anyway, as you can see, this will be a health reading for Trump, and I most likely will use the tarot. Maybe a little of the Lenormand, we'll see. So, yeah. Other than that, let me swap out cameras here, send you big hugs ahead of time, and let's get this going. Hold on. Okay, so I decided to just go ahead and leave the cards upright because when it comes to a health reading, I don't know if it even needs to be any reversals. We're either dealing with a health issue or not, or we're looking at at the health from all different angles. And it was interesting that in Putin's reading, I allowed for reversals and no reversals came through. And man, that was a doozy. Okay, so let me focus in on Trump. And I want to set the intention to let go of my bias and ask for only the truth. Only the truth for Donald John Trump's health. And I'll set a time limit as well. Let's look at his health between now, so May 10th, 2023, and let's go through, wow. Yeah, does that make sense? Let's go through January 21st, 2025. So that'll take us through the 2024 election and his possibility to put his hand on that Bible and be sworn in, which is a scary thought. But anyway, okay, Donald John Trump. Donald John Trump. Your health for the next basically 2 years, somewhere in there. Okay, Donald John Trump. Oh, right there. Okay. Whoa. Okay, so forces in motion. Greatest challenge. Wow. Actually, let me come down a little. Okay. Yeah, there's all the dark money. But then again, I focus. Remember, this is health only. But, I mean, just like in Putin's reading, other things came through. Whoa. Okay. All right. Oh, this was here too. But not like it was in Putin's reading. Yikes. Okay, so forces in motion, we have STDs, we have, right, sexually transmitted diseases. Why does that not surprise us? Maybe he's had like syphilis brain all his life. Well, not all his life, but, as an adult. The death card comes in when we have prostate problems, bladder problems, colon problems, any reproductive systems, I don't want to say other body parts because I don't want to think about it with him. Ugh. But someone who's very, very, very resistant to change and transformation, very resistant to letting go of control, someone who's unable to really move on, and major power and sex issues. And we know he's been a serial rapist, so that's not surprising at all. So when it comes to health issues, it's all about the reproductive system with him. His greatest challenge is the happy family card. His greatest challenge is the fact that he incarnated into a very dysfunctional family, but of course we could imagine why that happened. Yeah. But then on a health level too, and like I said in Putin's video, I'm using this deck because the astrological symbols, they help me remember, what it is on a health issue. So Mars in Pisces with his Ten of Cups, this can bring through someone with a lot of hidden agendas when it comes to relationship issues, like very manipulative, and grew up in a very unhappy home, and we know that that's true of him. All right, so he didn't have a healthy imprint of the happy family. So those are the major forces in motion going on in his life, and currently with the Five of Swords and Venus in Aquarius, it's like he really just kind of wants to be free. Has always had major commitment issues, but on a health level, we're looking at rapists, somebody who has caused a tremendous amount of pain and loss, and it's like doesn't care. Really, I mean, like full of the deepest inner conflicts, and they're still playing out. If you get this at a young age, you're going to have a major conflict to get through. But what is he, 76 or 75 now, or 77? I don't even know. Anyway, I get the feeling this is the defeat that he has to go through in his own body, like war and pillaging and rape in his own body. And then with the Hermit, whoa, on a health level, we're talking acute illnesses and viruses. And of course, we know that he had COVID, and I would bet that we're talking like, he's a long hauler COVID, person. He's definitely not doing any soul searching or, checking in within. He just doesn't do that. And I didn't allow for reversal. But if this card were to come through reverse, this would be major, intestinal digestive problems. And of course, that's him, right? It's also the card that rules the spleen. But I feel like it's more these acute illnesses and viruses and bronchial issues. Yeah. And also somebody who's feeling, I don't know if he feels, he's pretty numbed out, I'm sure. But this is also a card of isolation and loneliness. Which, if you're on your spiritual path, you don't mind being isolated. It's called solitude and going within. But he doesn't do that. So then we have the Seven of Swords. And, of course, there's the Moon in Aquarius. You see this, like, it could be great for somebody on their spiritual path, but not with him and not with these cards. But I'm thinking the Aquarian energy could be. But when we're talking relationship, the planet of relationship, and then the emotional body, and the Seven of Swords, it's like he's always, I get the feeling he's like robbing his own body just to do what he wants. This is a card on the health level. This is, like I said, abusing your own body. I think he's very vengeful. I think he's just like, well, fine, whatever, I'll do this. So that, if he doesn't get what he wants, he acts out and he's very vengeful. And then, of course, with the Empress, he has issues with women. And notice how this, all this serial rapist energy comes through here, and him just taking what he wants from women. It's all right here. So he has the karma of a rapist and all the, physical symptoms that will cause what that would put into motion in his body. Oh, man, this guy, I swear. Reproductive issues with this card, reproductive issues with this card. Both of these. So his feminine nature or his feminine, because we all have, every human being has a feminine and a masculine within, whether he would like to admit that, or people like him don't like to admit those things, but we each have a masculine and feminine. We each have the ability to receive and listen, which would be feminine, and then we also have the masculine, which is the ability to give and to act. Or to put energy out and to act, action and reception, things like that. He wouldn't like to think that way, but that's the way it is. But anyway, this on the body level, this card has to do with kidneys, lymphatic system, reproductive diseases, like I was saying, issues there. So anyway, and then with the Six of Wands being Jupiter and Leo, this could be an excess of energy just going out, tons of hot air, hot energy, and I've always gotten that, bloviating bag of hot air with him. It's just what he does. But when it comes to deeper health issues, of course, this is that need to be seen and always having the need to always have attention coming. But it's also a card of having a fall from grace. He never had grace, but that's the meaning of this card when we're dealing with a major issue. And it'll all be, now this is his karma too, and we could say these cards up here are the karma hanging over him. He's literally dying for attention constantly, and any means at all to make the money. And then another thing I was feeling with this Six of Wands, and maybe it's this combination here, but I was feeling like his need to just always project outward, I'm great, I'm big, I'm, all of this, and that ridiculous false pride that he walks around with. Major, major ego issue. But deep down inside, I think he really has a lack of self-confidence. But that's not what he puts out, right? So that's this like lie in his body. And then these two cards also speak. When I put these three together, I really get that feeling. So anyway, the Three of Pentacles, so Mars and Capricorn, so he's always going towards, always wants the money and the teamwork, the mob boss mentality. On a health issue, we're talking hardening of the arteries, because the Pentacles often always... Pentacles definitely are. Well, there's different systems of the body, right? We have our electrical, which would be swords, nervous system, and then we have our lymphatic system with the cups. The wands can definitely relate to the nerves as well. And pentacles would be the bones and muscle, things like that, the structured aspects of our body. So with the Three of Pentacles, I'm feeling like this hardening of the arteries in all over his body, not just around his heart. But rigidity, it's hard to say for some reason. So yeah, rigid, fascia, rigid, you know, it's like a person that needs to stretch and do all types of feeling in their body, and he doesn't. You know, he doesn't open his body to, he doesn't open to feel at all. He's just, it's just a really awful situation with him. But also a body that can be really prone to infections. And when it comes to, you know, anger issues when you don't get your way, you know. And it's also that I get that feeling is where he's very dependent on everyone on the outside to do his work for him. You know, just think of a mob boss. And then with the Eight of Cups, Saturn in Pisces, this would be, you know, on the dark side, is somebody who's just going to walk away from self-responsibility. They're not going to you know, do anything that they should do, right? But on another level, this could be he's hopeless, and it's also a card of a lot of possibilities for tumors and addictions. Like I said, with the cups, it's everything to do with the lymphatic system. But also, you know, because it's Saturn in Pisces, Saturn rules, like I said, the skeletal system, the muscles, things like that. So he's always wanting to escape his body. This would be, you know, the Adderall addiction and cocaine, all of that, you know, which literally like drives a person out, you know, from the inside out. And then, so not only have the Eight of Cups, we also have the Nine of Cups and Jupiter in Pisces there. So on the health level, we're talking, you know, of course, overindulgence, excess, overeating, this, you know, the smug person has always got to have a, you know, always have food in his belly kind of a thing. And it's also my card for drugs and alcohol and any type of gluttony, obesity issues, right? I mean, there's that, just always overdoing. It's also a card for liver problems, and with the red hat here, I always it reminds me of the high blood pressure, you know, that causes problems, and, you know, waiting for a stroke, basically. But somebody who's greedy, very materialistic, there's never enough type of a thing. And then, whew, the Five of Pentacles for a health reading is probably the worst, well, besides death and the Ten of Swords, this would be the worst card to get. This is our card for mental problems, mental fog, respiratory problems, senses that don't work well, you know, like the five senses just don't work well. And also someone who's very, what's the word? Impoverished spiritually. Somebody who worries all the time. So when he's not drugged out, and I do believe he also drinks. I know a lot of people don't believe that just because he said that he doesn't drink because his brother died from alcoholism. Well, you know what? The guy's a habitual liar, pathological liar, so I don't know why anybody would believe that he doesn't drink, because the addicts will go for whatever they can get their hands on. And I know he has an impulse control disorder, and we have, I mean, look at all this water here. So, yeah. Also this anger, impulsive, right? Impulse control disorders all right here. You can imagine what the guy's like when he drinks. So, anyway. Yeah. and I don't know that he has it in him to really care about other people, because he's always just thinking about the money. And, this is remember Mary Trump's book, what is it, Too Much and Never Enough, something like that? Is that the title of her book? That's what I'm getting here. Never enough. Because he doesn't have his soul is just not aligned with his spirit at all. There's so much darkness over his spirit's like this, a little tiny, tiny little spark, and you can't even see it. Anyway. And then here's our bloviating bag of hot air again. With the Knight of Swords on the health level, he just, he goes too fast. There's an addiction to going fast. We have nervous disorders with this card. This card is ruled by Gemini, or any air sign, but pretty much Gemini. He's very, just wildly going towards whatever he wants. It's also my card for violence, and this one is as well, and accidents, like an accident waiting to happen. This is somebody who has very, scattered, just his brain's just, all over the place all the time. And like with Putin's reading, I set the intention to not empath anything going on with him, because I don't want to feel all of this. But yeah, so when it comes to like the deeper levels of health, it's like both of these cards especially relate to his senses failing him. So he's not hearing well, he's not seeing well, he's not taking in information well, and we're talking major brain fog, and then he just goes crazy. Like the fear that's in this horse's face, you could imagine being, him, because he's got this crazy guy. Imagine this is him and his craziness, and this would be his body. It's like, what are you doing to me, man? And he's split. There's no mind-body connection with him at all. And then, with the Seven of Pentacles on a health level, again, there's that feeling like there's never enough. We have a possibility of eating disorders with this, and maybe some TMJ problems, because we're talking Saturn in Taurus. Maybe some OCDs going on. Always frustrated. Again, never enough. Too much, but never enough. Of course, I guess if you feel like there's just never enough, that would cause you to overeat and overindulge all the time. But, because he doesn't have his connection to his spirit at all, or his feminine side. So anyway, although Chrissy Teigen would call him something else that shows that he's very much in touch with that side. Anyway. Okay, and then with the Page of Cups here, again, another card that tells me that he drinks, overindulges, is developed probably up to maybe 12 or 13 years old. I've always felt like he had a major, well, and I've seen it in his astrology chart every time I look at it, with that moon conjunct his south node, and he was born under eclipse, so we're talking moon and Sag conjunct his south node. And when he first, when he got sent away to military camp, was when Saturn, his natal Saturn, had transited around and was on his south node. So I know that, and it was his dad. Saturn is usually the dad in the chart, and it was his dad that sent him away to military school. They tried to say he liked it and he was good at it and all that, but no, he didn't. And I feel like this is him in his arrested development at 13 years old coming through right here. Which is just basically narcissistic on one level. And I always have thought, I truly believe that he's a born psychopath, that he went out of a lifetime as Mussolini, and I think Caligula before that, Mussolini in this last lifetime, and just came in as that psychopathic, gimme, 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 it's all me, and you guys are for me, that kind of thing. So, but anyway, just to go a little bit deeper on this Page of Cups here, this is someone who's hiding a lot of secrets, very emotionally immature, especially, I mean, this would be okay for a younger kid, but not for him at his age. Majorly blocked on the creative levels, and that could be the case here too with the Empress. And yeah, he's just like, I feel like he's very weighed down and manipulative because of that 13-year-old, angsty teen, I guess we could call it. Yeah. So he's trying to, what I'm getting here is that he's trying to hide all of his health issues. But, we remember him saying, he's talking about, man, woman, camera, right? All of that. Well, you don't say things like that unless you've had a lot of cognitive testing. So, anyway. Other than looking at this card again, especially next to that card. You tarot readers out there know where I'm going with this, right? I'm going to go ahead and get this uploaded. Okay, thanks you guys. Take very, very good care. Big hugs. Bye.